like, come on through, Cookie. I want to pull my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is going to be Shades of Blue, and it's season 1, episode 6. We start right into this episode with Harley sitting down with Miguel Zepeda. She actually went down to the jail to a visit to actually sit with him and I guess try to see where his head was for the most part. And she was shocked to find out he was telling her basically that he didn't trust anybody except for her, and that he had a lead on who he said for a long time he had actually thought that she was the one that was behind him, ended up being there. And he was like, you know, I'm sorry, I thought it was you and everything. But he said he thinks that, I think it's this guy named Frank Kovac that actually killed the person that I'm framed for being killed, framed for murdering. And she gave her his name, and she also she just went ahead on and left that alone, and she left up out of there. Waz told her, when he told her, leave that shit alone. Just stay out of it and leave it alone. Of course, you know, she's not going to leave it alone. She's trying to, you know, she said that the person that really killed the person really does need to go to jail. So that's that. So she ends up getting herself all entrenched in this. Now, Waz suspects that Saperstein is the mole. So he's on that, and he's like convinced that he's the mole, and he basically wants to kill him. And that's it. I mean, there was no if, no ands, no buts. I'm going to kill him, and that's it. Child Tess is sitting around, her and her partner. She tells her partner, you know, they done fucked. So she tells him that she's going to tell her husband. You know, she's going to come clean her husband and all that. And he's like, what are you doing? You know, like, okay, we're not going to fuck no more. Leave it alone. Do you honestly think you're going to tell him this, and then we're going to go back to everything's going to be good? No, there's going to be issues. There'll be bloodshed, you know. I'm like, that is really a dumb idea, but okay, whatever. So he goes on off, and that's that. Harley takes her ass, and she ends up taking Saperstein down with her to the Frank Kovac's house. And she's questioning him in the doorway. He's going back and forth with her. She doesn't ever warn or anything like that. She tells a lie. Saperstein's actually across the street waiting on her. Wozniak ends up calling, and he answers the phone, tells Waz where they were and what the address was. And she had lied to Saperstein about why they were actually there. And he's like, don't leave, I'm on my way. Child, in the midst of all this, the Kovac ends up asking Harley, what's my parole officer's name? And she couldn't answer it. So he punched her in her motherfucking face and knocked her ass down the steps and closed the door. But it went and escaped out the back. Okay, he ran and left out of the back. So they had all that going on. Waz is actually on his way there. She figures that out because Sap tells her Waz is on the way. She's like, oh my God, this is going to be a mess. Because she knows Waz wants to kill Sap anyway. So this is going to be the time. And she ends up calling the jerk from the FBI. And it all meshed together where she ended up leaving Sap there at the house. The FBI agents got there first to get him. And she said, just arrest him or something. But you can't. He's going to kill him if you don't. You got to get him. So they ended up basically accosting him and keeping him from running into Wozniak. And they basically took him into custody and told him, you know, they offered him immunity and all that. Told him, we basically got you. We the feds, we got you. And all of this. We're going to put you in a safe house. He said he got to go see his mother. You know, he needs to go see his mom. He goes on and sees his mom, but nobody ever told him that Wozniak thought he was a mole and was gonna kill him. So he still don't know that. So he goes over there. They're in there with him supposed to be grabbing a few things. Shit goes left. He ends up escaping because his mother's supposed to be having heart palpitations. So the female officer goes to see about the mother. He takes and stabs the jerk with a damn a fork or some shit out of the drawer and turns his fucking gun on him. And then he goes on a goddamn ramp. He just runs out and takes his mother's car, and he's running like fucking O.J. Simpson. And they done put an APB out on his ass. So they had all that shit going on. Same time, they done found out that Kovacs done punched Harley in her goddamn mug. So the other cops then got mad. So they get into it, and they go find out about the ex-wife. They figure out, where the ex-wife is. Here, Kovacs that actually went, beat up and tied up the damn ex-wife, made her call the school and get the son. He done ran on down to the school, kidnapped the damn son, and gonna try to make a run for it. They get all in touch with him because he has this girlfriend, a security guard. They get her ass all snatched up, and she basically tells them, okay, they all get in touch. They're like, just going to give him up or shit's going to get ugly. So he agrees to come down. They said, we're going to give you an unmarked car. We're going to give you some money. You just disappear. But you got to bring that boy back. He agrees. This is where they all end up here together. They all end up here together. In the meantime, between time, Saperstein is running around. He runs into Tess. Tess is like, well, wait a minute. Well, what's going on? What do you mean the feds got you? What? Wait a minute. Hold on. He's like, no, I ain't got time. He see the cops coming, and he takes off running. Tess ends up like saying, what the fuck? So he told her, it's probably best that any of us don't use our phones because the feds are on to us. She runs over to Harley's house, where Harley's actually at. Christina then turned around and then found a letter from Zepeda that states in there that he's her dad and all that. So we had to go through that whole thing. She ran down there because Christina's says she's going to go see her dad. They wouldn't let her into jail without permission from her parent. She went down there to get Christina, brings her home, tells her a story about, which basically tells her that Zepeda is not her dad. And you know what? J-Lo lies so much on this. I don't know whether he really was or he really ain't at this point. But anyhow, she showed her pictures of her beat up and all that shit. So now she flipped that story, and now Christina's cool again. She don't want to meet Zepeda. She cool. So Tess comes in the midst of that, and she's telling her, okay, we got to go. So they're like, we got to go. They're on their way to the scene over by where the security guard chick is, where they're going to make the drop off and the switch for the little boy. So we got all these people on the way there. Tess then told Sap, where Waz was. So, of course, Harley's like, oh my God, he don't need to be nowhere around him because fucking kill him. But she didn't tell her. So they're all going. They got a whole standoff going. They're up in the top of this. It's like a parking lot, an old parking lot. And they're up at the top of this thing. And it all goes down. Sap actually ends up showing up because shit went left. And the goddamn man literally turned the gun on Waz. He got the money and he got the baby. He got the gun turned on Waz. Sap comes up the back. Because, he wasn't even supposed to be there. He come up the back. He pulls his gun. The guy turns the gun on the little boy. The little boy's 10 years old. Turns the gun on the son. And all that goes down. And I'm trying to think, how did that happen? Yeah, he turns the gun on them, and he ends up saying, "Okay, I'm gonna give it up." And he tells them to Oh, he says, where's the girlfriend? Because that's all he cared about really was the money. He wanted the money and the son and the girlfriend, but he would settle for the girlfriend and the son. And what ended up happening when, I almost forgot this, I'm sorry, y'all. When Tess and Harley showed up, they had their siren on. That's what interrupted him having the gun pulled on a little boy. It threw him off. He said, you said there wasn't going to be any cops. So when he did that and he looked over to see where the siren was coming from, Sap threw something at him and busted him in his back and made him drop the gun. And then the two of them got to fighting. Waz grabs the little boy, sends the little boy to tell him, run downstairs. Halfway up the steps, Tess gets the little boy, takes the little boy down. Harley keeps on going up to the top. Well, up at the top, Sap is up there fighting his ass off with Kovac. And he's like, Waz, can I get a little help here? Waz just standing there watching. So he finally knocks Kovac out. Because if he had him literally hanging over the thing at one point, had him by the neck, he was fucking Sap up. He get him up off of him. He knocks him out. Waz says to him, I heard you've been talking to the feds. He's like, it's not like that. He didn't make it very clear, but he's just saying it's not like that. I ain't rat us out or nothing like that. I had no other choice. He said, I don't have any other choice either. And he fucking pushed him off the ledge. Just pushed him over. And he fell down, and I said, something, damn, because it's dirt. Like there was dirt down there, but it still was like stories and stories and stories up. So they pushed him over there. He fell on his back. He was done. And then he took the gun, took a little handkerchief, grabbed up Sap's gun, and Kovac that got back up at this point, he even came back too. He shot that motherfucker in the head, sent him sailing on over there. So they both ended up over there. He lies and tells Harley, because Harley finally gets up there and says, he shot him and they both fell. Mess. Absolute mess. So that was that. They're down there. Then you actually see the black cop, that's Sap's partner, runs out and he's like, oh man, and he's like hollering and he gets out there, he's like, oh, he's still breathing. Child, you should have seen Wozniak's face like, oh, this motherfucker. He was so upset that he didn't actually get to kill him. So that's basically where we are with that. Last thing that I didn't talk about is the rookie. The rookie had finally came out in the newspaper that the rookie had been cleared of the charges of killing the boy. So now the girlfriend knows that he's the one that did it. And the little boy came to their baseball game and the little boy banged his car up with a bat. And was telling, you said you were my friend. You killed my cousin. This, that, thing, and the other. I'm like, oh, whatever. So he's wearing on my nerves. But that's basically all that's going on. But this is where we at. So Sap is still alive. He did not die. They're trying to get him some help. And it's going to be real interesting next week to try to see what Wozniak is going to do next with this shit. All right, so that's it. Shades of Blue. That's episode 6. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I know it was all I was rambling on because it was so much. It was a lot going on. But I think you all got it. Y'all know how I do this. So y'all do a good job keeping up with me. But anyway, that's it, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.